Finally, an answer to the age-old question, which comes first, the chicken or the egg roll? Easy. Just eat whichever one's closest. The Sensation Salad and Filet Sandwich Meal are back at Zaxby's. Both feature our famous hand-breaded chicken, crispy wontons, Asian slaw, and citrus vinaigrette. And each comes with its very own egg roll for a limited time only at Zaxby's. Try them with fried pickles while supplies last.
From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
wake up, wake up. Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
and this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Zaxby's
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What's up, everybody? It is Wake Up Warchant, proudly presented by Zaxby's, and it is still Miami week. Let's go, Corey Clark. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Use that promo code Warchant30 for 30 free days of access. If you're listening to us on YouTube, hit the thumbs up. That'd be super cool. Maybe even subscribe to our YouTube page. There's a little bell. Click the bell. Set your notifications. Whenever this show drops, live shows, pregame show, postgame show, recruiting show. We're practically ESPN, dabbled and covered in garnet and gold. It's amazing. But we still are an old school journalistic outlet led by a senior writer and columnist named Corey S. Clark. Here he is.
Would you say you think I lead the charge, not Ira or Gene?
Well, I mean, Ira gets too much love on the show. I feel like I'm constantly, sucking up to Ira. Ira this, Ira
you're
that.
true. I am kind of the leader. I would say, honestly, I'm the unquestioned leader of Warchant. So that feels good that you recognized it, too.
I finally have kind of come to this epiphany of what it's like to be Ira, like constantly. But Ira's had to deal with it for, I don't know, like 15 years of knowing you. And just everybody like, oh, man, Corey's the best. I love Corey. Like everyone's like, oh, Corey. And then Ira has to deal with, like, your nonsense behind the scenes. But he does a good job of never airing it out to preserve your pristine image.
I don't know that he does that great a job. Like, people know about our spats at fast food restaurants and rest areas. They know about our spats with maybe my sleeping habits or driving habits. He'll throw me under the bus occasionally. But yeah, for the most part, he just kind of nods his head politely and is like, yeah, you're right, Corey is the best. By the way, no, it's not like everybody's saying that. Just the smart people.
Yeah, it's 96% of the populace, so, I mean, no one – only the dictators get 100% of the vote,
You're right.
Get like 96. We're going to do Renegade Express edition of the program. Also, tomorrow we'll be back with a Friday show. We'll do over-unders. We'll do some more giveaways. By the way, everything finally, my bad, went out in the mail on Wednesday. So you folks getting T-shirts, MO_Knowles77, I think, and Rowdy Knoll, they'll be there on Monday. So sorry about that, but they'll be there for you. We spoke to John Papuchis, we spoke to Renardo Green, and we spoke to Emmett Rice on Wednesday. Only thing really quasi-newsworthy is I think John Papuchis accidentally told us that Josh Kaindoh's probably not going to play. When we asked about his sort of, are you hopeful he'll be available? And he was like, yeah, but, I've been seeing him out there working hard. And usually, Ira said in the group text, but usually when a coach says, I'm seeing him out there working hard, it's like, yeah, like in the end zone with all the injured people, right? That's what I picked up on.
I mean, yeah, it didn't sound like it was really optimistic for Kaindoh this week, but you never know. Hey, you know what? It's only Thursday. He's got time to pick it up and get healthy and play. But, yeah, it didn't sound overly optimistic, but also he did not say at all, like, Kaindoh's definitely not playing, so – we don't want to read too much between the lines, but just, I guess, your friendly hosts at Wake Up Warchant are telling you don't be stunned if number 13 isn't out there on Saturday night.
Yeah. Meanwhile, a little bit of a nugget passed down by Gene Williams over on the Tribal Council. Pretty encouraging news about Chubba Purdy. We'll see if maybe that hopefully comes to fruition. Boy, I'd like for them to push it, man. Trot him out there. I was listening to some sort of stat about Kyler Murray, which is probably not a good comparison for anybody in this world because he's amazing. But something like he ran the ball 22 times, and he either slid, ran out of bounds, or, I don't know, scored a touchdown on 19 or maybe 20 of the 22. He never got hit. It's possible. You can go out there. You can run around and not get hit or protect yourself. He's cleared, so.
Yeah.
check out.
Hey, there's a chance. There's a chance. Again, don't expect a combination of like Chris Winkie and Charlie Ward in his first game. But if and when he does get out there, it's going to be exciting just to see what the skill set looks like. Just to see something different, but also see what we hope. I mean, he's a kid that isn't afraid of contact, although maybe he should be, and can run. I certainly don't believe the 4.42 necessarily, but anybody that says they run a 4.42, they're not running a 4.8. Like, it might be a 4.55, but 4.55 is plenty fast enough to make a difference in a college football game.
I'll take 4.6-ish. I'll take high 4.6s out of my quarterback. Yeah, man, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, so if he's anywhere in the neighborhood of like 4.5, that's a difference maker with your legs at the quarterback position, as long as he can avoid hard contact. So, hey, man, let's see. Let's see what we're looking at. Let's see what we got. Maybe we'll see it on Saturday night.
There wasn't too much to glean from what John Papuchis had to say, so we'll get to Renegade Express here shortly. But the one thing he did mention, and you've mentioned this a few times on the show, just about look better in November. Teams are allowed to get better throughout the season. You're pretty confident this team's going to look better in November. And we had asked him basically, he mentioned the whole cliche, you get better from week 1 to week 2, and then I asked him kind of, well, does that still apply when you have a week off between your first and second game? And he mentioned that he had been in that situation before at LSU, post Katrina. But he did say, like, I'm confident we'll make a jump. Like, you'll see a better team out there than you did last time around. And then he mentioned, kind of piggybacked on top of that and said that come November, this team is going to be better than what you'll see, what we're seeing in September. So nothing, earth-shattering, but that's putting something out into the world. That's speaking confidence. That's showing direction and, kind of a little bit of an uplifting message. I think he didn't have to say any of that, man. He's a special teams guy. He's like, hey, man, I'm just here to make sure we don't get kicks blocked and try to figure out some way to get a pass rush. Also, they're going to try to maybe get a little more exotic on the pass rushing stuff.
Yep.
He didn't want to disclose what or how, and I didn't want to know what or how. I just want to know that they do plan because, I just don't know. Who you get? Josh Griffiths and Janaris Robinson. That's not.
Yeah, you think like,
sufficient.
Man, you almost want to drop 9 into coverage and just rush the 2 defensive tackles. Right. Like, what's the point with the DNs? Like, really show De'Aaron King something he's never seen before, and just rush 9 or just rush 1 or 2, and just see what that looks like. Because hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully those guys take a big step up, and maybe the young guys especially will. But if Kaindoh's not out there, even if Kaindoh is out there, frankly, we don't know enough to think that he's a huge difference maker yet. You don't see them getting a ton of outside pressure with those defensive ends. And in fact, what they could do if they take a bad angle at De'Aaron King, they could open up a running lane, or not even a running lane. I that's a big deal. I'm not saying it's not, but an escape lane, an escape hatch almost, where he gets outside of the pocket, and then you could be in real trouble with a big play downfield throwing the ball. So just do whatever you can to keep him in the pocket.
Dang right. All right, with that said, let us get on the ponies. It's Renegade Express. Again, if you want to combine your marketing prowess of your company or business and you want to be attached to one of the most important franchises at Warchant.com, let me know. Eskimo Randy, Miami week. We might be driving straight into a Category 5. But thank you guys for keeping us entertained along the way. Corey/Aslan, very polite of him to do this. It's really just Corey. If you can put on your FSU historian hat, when was the last time we had a less talented running back group than the one we currently have? Seems like we always have someone with NFL talent back there. Watching the group week 1 made me realize how good we have had it.
Number one, I think it's way too early to make decisions or blanket verdicts on what this running back group is. We haven't even seen all of them, really. So I'm going to hold off on that. But I can go ahead and tell you I didn't expect anybody to be Cam Akers or Dalvin Cook. And the ones that we saw clearly are not. But that doesn't mean these guys can't be good. Toafili might be the real deal. Like, Toafili might be great. Who knows? There's some real there's a chance, man. I thought Webb. I guess I didn't see what everybody else seems to think, that Webb just isn't it. Like, I thought he had some nice moments. I think it's his first college football game.
Yeah.
It's Corbin's first real college football game. He played against, Texas State in an opener as a freshman, and played a couple quarters against Clemson, that defense from a couple years ago, and then missed the rest of the year. So you got a lot of inexperience.
Yeah, he played in 18, though, I think, as a true freshman.
Yeah, but still, what I'm saying, like, depend upon when he's highly dependent upon. Like,
right.
The A&M had a really good running back, right? When
Travion Williams or something like that. Yeah, it was real good.
So he wasn't getting a ton of touches. I would say, though, because you had Freeman and Williams and Wilder.
Chris Thompson. Started Chris Thompson, Chris Thompson was in the pros. Devontae went to the pros. Dalvin went to the pros. Carlos went to the pros. James Wilder went to the pros up in Canada. Cam now, obviously, in the NFL. Yeah, man.
My initial instinct is probably Antone Smith's last year. That would be my initial instinct. But again, let's see, man. What are we judging on? 12 carries, 13 carries total between these running backs, and Toafili didn't get much. Yeah. So let's wait a little while before we say how untalented these guys are. But we can obviously go ahead and all nod in unison that no, they are not Dalvin Cook and Cam Akers. And you're right, Florida State, when you think about the run and Antone Smith was a fine college back, he just wasn't extra special. You go from Chris Thompson to Devontae Freeman / Carlos Williams, James Wilder, to Dalvin Cook, and then to Cam Akers. Man, that's what school other than maybe Alabama has had a run like that? That's a pretty incredible run.
Marv-U, running back U, DBU, everything U, Florida State, man.
Kicker U?
Yeah, that's right. I'm with you, though. I, for some reason, wasn't too bearish after seeing LaDamian Webb run the ball, and I think he did get more snaps, or at least got more carries than Corbin, so maybe he's got a little brighter of a future, at least right now. And again, Corbin, too, man, he had a major hamstring injury. Missed all that, pretty much the entire 19 season after week 2, so he's got to get his legs under him. I do think the running game is going to be emphasized. It has to, because we've obviously discussed ad nauseum how just limited you are throwing the ball. And we spoke to Gary Furman from canesport.com. That's going to be up on the website probably later today. Might even be up on YouTube right now. But for all the good or whatever of Miami's defense, he was pointing out the fact that their interior defense he doesn't think is nearly as strong as it usually is. He was saying like 2017 was really good Miami defense, and they're not close to that. And they're kind of middle of the road. I think there's 52 or 54 teams now that are ranked in the NCAA stats department. Their rushing defense is 28th. Their total defense is 29th. I mean, they're allowing 400 yards a game. So it's not 2001. It's not Vilma and Antrell Roll and Vince Wilfork and DJ Williams.
Name them. Yep. Andre Johnson, Jeremy Shockey.
Yeah. Although those tight ends look good, man.
Maybe this guy is a Jeremy Shockey / Kellen Winslow.
Yeah, so.
When you look back, and I know this is a Florida State podcast, and you guys know both of our histories, but I'm telling you, other than the 13 team, I think the one that's in the running is the best of all time. Well, last year's LSU team was right up there too. That was incredible what they did, especially on offense. That 01 Miami team, man, when you go down the list, it is ungodly how much talent they had, from Will Fork to, like you said, McKinney at tackle. Like the one that ended up being not the most, literally the most pedestrian of all the players was the quarterback. Yeah. But Dorsey was good enough, obviously, and he had from McGahee to Portis to Frank Gore, I think was the next year, and just incredible, man, just absolutely nuts. What that offense was, what that whole team was. Maybe they didn't have a good kicker. I don't remember if their kicker was any good.
Todd
and they didn't need a punter.
He was pretty good. No, Todd Severs was a pretty good kicker.
Of course he was. Why wouldn't he have been?
Yeah. Otherwise, though, they haven't been recruiting all that well, but they somehow hit jackpot in the portal. Again, I mean, the video's got some good stuff in. I don't want to steal all of it. Maybe we'll talk about some of it on Friday when we dive further into game analysis, because that's what you come for to Wake Up Warchant. Game analysis, preview. That's what we do. Warpath Knoll. Wake up. You guys always start my day off right. Thanks, guys. So the last few years, our offensive line has been historically bad. But on the flip side, what was our best overall offensive line ever? Look at all these historical questions. Thank God I have you. I would just say 13, but that's just a gimme layup, right? That's all I know.
I mean, I tend to think anything with. I mean, they were all good in the '90s. Some better than others, but I want to say anything with Walter Jones in it, which would have been what was his year? '96.
Yeah.
So I think they had Walter Jones and Trey Thomas on one line. That's one Hall of Famer and another guy that was an All Pro on the same. And plus they were. It's not like they were late bloomers. They were good in college too. Especially the 1 year Walter Jones was there. So I would always lean towards that one. But the 13 one was mighty good too, man. They were and they worked well together. But I think I can't quite remember the other guys on that line.
I was going to say Clay Shiver, but he left that 95 was his last season. He was drafted in 96, so he was really good. Yeah.
They had some serious talent in the 96 one. So I'll go ahead and lean towards that one. Maybe Jason Whitaker. Would he have been on that one? But yeah, I'm going to go 96.
Oh, okay. We can take that. I do like where the offensive line's going. I think they did good enough. And I know Georgia Tech's not a vaunted defense, but they did good enough. And if they can stay healthy, and they obviously don't have a lot of depth, which is not very helpful, but they get 2 of their reserves back. And I don't know, just it's encouraging. They're coming along. We're not going to be where we want to be in November right now, but we're getting there. Small steps. Noel 6.
Yeah, it's definitely. I looked it up. So it was Kevin Long at center, who was an NFL player. Yeah. Todd Fordham was an NFL player.
There you go.
Walter Jones, Marcus Long was the guard, and then Trey Thomas was the other tackle. So we're going with that one. That was, Warwick Dunn was really good, quite obviously, but he had some big-time players blocking for him.
Good call, Corey.
You got it, buddy.
Noel 6, let's try this again. Wake up. Hey, guys, 6 from Zephyr Hills, Florida. I've listened to the show for a while. You guys do a great job. Thanks, man.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, how do you think our defense looks different, if at all? That's a good question. I think we need more blitz packages to contain King along with setting the edge better. What do you think changes this week? Enjoy the show. Keep up the great work. Go Noles. FSU 31, Miami 24. Ooh, that'd be sexy.
All right. I like the
sexy.
Now, I wonder if he thinks that Florida State scores late, like in the final 10 or 15 seconds, like Blackman just leads them down the field, or, Chuba leads them down the field, or Florida State has the lead and Miami's coming back and they get the stop there at the end.
Then recover the onside kick to quell the comeback.
Right, because some teams do recover onside kicks. Some teams understand that the ball doesn't have to go 10 yards before you can jump on it, but not every team, obviously.
Yeah, but then see if he would have jumped in front of it and it would have bounced off of him. They were like, and I was idiot, let it go 10 yards.
My only thought at all about what the Falcons were doing there was the way it came off his foot. It looked like it was going like sideways and might either stop or go out of bounds before it went 10 yards. But then it took like kind of a weird turn back going towards the 40, but it's rolling around. Like just go jump on the thing. It wasn't like a normal onside kick. I think it would have been easier to recover than a normal onside kick because it was kind of spinning sideways instead of one of those, the ones that go end over end. I would say the one thing that caught my ear on Monday, maybe when Adam Fuller did say they had done some things switching positions. Did you hear him say that?
I don't recall.
It was kind of, in the middle, and he talks fast. Boston guy talks fast, says a lot. But in one of his comments, he said something about figuring out different positions, switching positions for our talent, something along those lines. So I don't know. I'm not going to even guess really what we see, but I do think there will be not drastic changes, but there will be some noticeable changes on the defense. Maybe even just switching linebackers out, switching what you're doing with J-Rob, maybe playing Akeem Dent more. I don't know what they're going to do, but it does sound like they're going to do or switching up the safeties a little. I don't know. They'll figure out something. Well, hopefully they've already figured out something, but we'll know exactly what he meant on Saturday night, I guess.
To your question, Noel 6, how do we think the defense looks different, if at all? What do we think changes this week? I guess Corey talks about maybe personnel changes can possibly spark something. Hampson maybe coming back gives you some more, aggression, maybe some more calming presence. And that's the thing. It just they didn't look different coverage-wise. I mean, up front, I mean, they didn't pressure the quarterback last year all that well either, so that was pretty much the same thing. But to me, the most aggravating thing was just coverage-wise, guys were open. There's just too many uncontested throwing lanes, uncontested catches, just nobody within, nobody on a guy's hip. I mean, you can get beat. That's part of playing cornerbacks, part of playing defensive backs. You get beat on plays, but it just seemed like, man, Sims threw it to guys that were always open. It wasn't like he put it up there and guys were pulling down crazy grabs or really great route running was going on out there. That's what kind of makes me a little bit leery about how much really have they changed. And that's a position group that's got lots of new bodies and faces in new places. But maybe Miko Dotson can come in and that'll help out a considerable amount.
Yeah, they gave up some stuff middle of the field and quick passes to running backs and tight ends and receivers in the middle of the field. One of the stretches that I was really disappointed in, I guess, was there were a couple. I think it was in Georgia Tech's drive to tie for their second touchdown drive that tied the game. Is they had a couple of third downs where Asante just gave up way too much room. I mean, that was simple as can be. He gave up two pretty easy pitches and catches on like 3rd and 6. In 3rd and 8, where the kid just ran 10 yards, turned around, and Asante was 5 yards off him. Like, come on, man. If you're an All-American candidate, which he is, if you're an NFL player, which he is, you can't give up first downs that easy. Now, look, he's the one guy that played the best on that defense, probably. So I feel bad taking a shot at him or pointing that out. But that's a big moment, man. Where why are you letting that happen so easily, especially with a freshman quarterback? Why are you giving him such an easy throw? I don't know if there's no way it was a zone. It was straight man. It had to have been, and he just gave him too much room. So they can't have that. They just can't give up the simple throws.
Jeff Sims completed 24 passes. 5 went to running backs. Blackman completed 23 passes. 9 of his went to running backs. So, again, I mean, receivers got open on really talented cornerbacks, at least from the Rivals.com network, from what they did.
Yeah, but, other than the Jarian Jones one, he gave up a couple, obviously, and then Asante giving up those 2 third downs. You don't remember, like, guys just sprinting past cornerbacks.
I don't, but
I think it was more of zone. I was going to say, I think it was more of, like, them beating a zone than beating straight man, like them finding holes in the zone, because Florida State has traditionally now, it's become an annual rite of passage. They struggle to play zone. So hopefully that changes. You can't just play straight man the whole game, but you got to play zone better than Florida State seemingly plays it. But one game, as I've always said, Aslan, game 1 to game 2. That's right. Watch what happens. Watch what happens, my man.
Mad AMCZ. Maybe at one point I'll just call him M. Adam CZ, but I'm going to keep calling him Mad AMCZ.
Okay.
Wake freaking up. It's Miami week. I'm disappointed in the Tribal Council posters predicting a Miami blowout. They've played UAB in Louisville, and Louisville's defense was a train wreck at best. Now, all of a sudden, Miami's light years ahead of FSU? I don't buy it. They've added a good transfer quarterback and an offensive coordinator who has proven so far they can beat up on weak opponents. Well done. You're back, Miami. I think it's very plausible Miami comes into this game with the pressure of a must-win. I'm predicting we rally around our absent head coach, punch them in the mouth early. We're not going to win a track meet, but if we protect the ball and play more inspired defense, it will be another classic with either team having a field goal to win. And my prediction, quick pass to Travis J split wide, and he hits Tamorian Terry deep for an easy score. And the refs don't blow the call this time. Karma. Win it for Norvell, FSU.
Hey, I like the optimism. I like the optimism. I'm certainly not on the blowout train. It's certainly a possibility. It's just, I think a lot of Florida State fans obviously have watched this team for the last few years and then were really bummed out about what they saw in the opener and can't really foresee a scenario where Florida State goes down there and beats that team. But it's not impossible by any means.
That quarterback and that offensive coordinator are looking pretty good together right now. It's crazy how they went into the transfer market, to Jay from Daytona. mean, just kind of pointing all that stuff out. I mean, they got an offensive tackle in the transfer market. They got a pass rusher in the transfer market. They got a linebacker in the transfer market. They got a quarterback. It's just it's crazy. I mean, they went like free agency route. Maybe like a hidden thing in here is that, I mean, I don't know how. I mean, it's Florida State, Miami. It's still early in the season, but this is like a big game for Manny. Maybe Manny coaches a little tight. Maybe there's a little too much over preparation. Maybe a little too much juice. They come out with possibly, and you have to manage emotions well in a game like this. And I mean, he obviously did a pretty good job last season. So, but there's more expectations on them this year. It's just crazy how they ended their year. Like they lost to FIU, they get shut out in a bowl game, and here they are now. They're ranked like in the top 15, obviously in a very lean season. But I like that, Matt AMCZ. I got you. All right, that's right. I mean, Odell, rally these guys, man. Rally your front four. Rally your guys. Play defense with like aggression. Everybody starts up front. Let's do it. Drill Sergeant Porter, wake up. Love the show. And I think the biggest key to beating Miami will be limiting or eliminating. Ooh, like that. Look, that's making me read that, making me earn my paycheck. Biggest key, he says, Corey, beating Miami is limiting or eliminating the number of times we see the jewelry. As for me, I hate the Gators way more. Don't get me wrong, Miami's a close second, but the Gators are so arrogant. At least Miami embraces what they are. Also, Aslan, I have been in the Army Reserves now for nearly 19 years. I work as a government contractor, but when I hit my 20 years and retire, I have some buddies in Florida who are taking me gator hunting. I'll let them know the first kill is for you. As always, nice. Go Knowles. Thank you, man. Thank you for seeing the light, Drill Sergeant Porter. If you were to survey the people in Westcott and the people at Moore and ask them who they, I don't want to say despise because they're a classy bunch in those two buildings, but what game they want to win more, what rival grinds their gears harder, do you think they'd say Miami or Florida?
I don't know. I would assume Florida.
Yeah.
I just assume that's more ingrained, especially for the older folks that have been around a while and been at Florida State for a while and have loved Florida State for a long time. I would think Florida, but I also think there's that certain age group that like Jeff Cameron, there's that certain demographic that just despises, that's the right word, despises Miami in everything it stands for and all the championships it cost Florida State. So they will never be able to say they hate, like it might be equal, but there are some people that are like, there's no way I can despise anything more than Miami. But I do think if you polled the fan base, it would lean more towards orange and blue than the orange and green as far as who they dislike more.
A lot of it's geography too, I think. I mean, there's been such an influx of Florida State alums that are from South Florida.
And this is going to sound like a shot, and I guess it is. You don't hang around a lot of Miami fans unless you live in South Florida, and even then, they're only fans when they're good. So they haven't been really fans in a long time. You don't really hang about a lot of. Everybody listening to this, if they're in the state of Florida, probably has somebody in their office that's a big-time Gator fan. Maybe multiple people. Maybe more people than Florida State fans. There's a chance you don't have a Miami fan in your office. Probably a good one. Yeah. So I think that has something to do with it too. The people that you hang around, you get grief from, they're almost always going to be more Florida fans in that regard than Miami fans.
Yeah, man. The lights have been turned on. The roaches are everywhere now. They're back. They were quiet. It was quiet, man. It was quiet for a long time. They're all back now. They're all back. ATX Knoll. Wake up, fellas. All I want to know, will we see Tate or more of Jordan Travis? I've been on the boards the last few days. I think I'm not alone in saying this, but we need out of this quarterback. I think how good a kid is irrelevant at this point. We are the worst offense in Power 5 with him at the helm, and I legit turn the television off once he starts his downward spiral because we all know what the outcome will be. Sorry to sound harsh, but I'm super frustrated watching our team at the moment. All that said, I'll be repping my Knowles from the great state of Texas here in Austin. Go Knowles.
Nice. Once this country gets back up and running again, like it needs to be, 100%. Yeah. I'm going to make a trip to Austin. That's one of the cities that I want to cross off. Never been there. Sounds like a cool place to be, and that's where I want to go.
I've never been. Let's do like a wake up Warchant on the road.
No, you're not invited. But going back to the question. Well, it wasn't even a question, right? It was more of a comment. I think he knows where we stand, right, on the quarterback situation.
There was a question. Will we see more Tate Rodemaker or more Jordan Travis?
I think that if the struggles continue, you will see something. They will not just continually bang their head against the wall with this kid. They will give him some leeway, I think. I think he'll start the game and get some leeway. You can't just pull a kid after 2 series. But if you're late in the second quarter and you have 3 points or no points or 7 points on one fluke play or something, but 5 punts, yeah, man, you just at some point you got to say, all right, we get it. We've learned. But there's nothing to say that that's going to happen, but I understand why Florida State fans think it's going to happen.
Where do I go on stat broadcast to see how many plays? There we go. So Florida State ran 80 plays. Yeah. 43 were James Blackman dropbacks attempts. He completed 23 of them.
Probably a little more than that, too, because he had a few scrambles.
Yeah.
So probably 45 or 46.
I mean, how many open guys do you think he missed? Like bad open guys. I'm not talking like if you're confident in your ability, you can make that
I'll be
throw.
honest. I think he's missing open guys on every read almost, on every play. And I don't mean overthrowing them or throwing it too short or wide. I'm talking about not seeing them.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
trying
my
to say.
biggest concern, man. It's not the overthrows, which can be prevalent occasionally. It's just it's not getting it to them when they're open quickly enough, or not seeing them at all. That's the issue. Yeah, again, I've said this before, but it was about Xavier Lee when I realized, man, being able to hum the ball 75 yards and being a big physical specimen and running around doesn't do you a whole lot if you don't see the field, man. If you don't know where you're supposed to be throwing it. And that is by far the biggest attribute a quarterback has to have, is knowing where to go with it and getting it there quickly and on time. And apparently the kid at Memphis does it great, and the kid here not so much. He hasn't proven that he can do that. And that to me is by far the biggest character or trait that you're looking for, not a character trait, just a regular trait, like a football trait that I think you want out of a quarterback. Seeing the field, getting it to where it needs to go quickly. Doesn't matter if you can throw it 100 miles an hour or you have a Hornibrook pot. Well, let's stay away from the Hornibrook arms. Yeah. But if you have a reasonable arm and can see the field, that's much better than a kid that throws it 150 miles an hour but can't see it when you need to get the ball to him.
It's crazy, man. Those first 2 drives, obviously first drive's most likely scripted. Touchdown, bang, bang, 2 completions. Yeah. Second drive, I think it went 3 of 5, and it was kind of betrayed by Warren Thompson on the drop.
How do you again? I don't want to. This will be my last thing about Blackman, but I'm going to I'm going to go about his touchdown pass. How many other quarterbacks, good quarterbacks, or just quarterbacks in the ACC, almost get that pass batted down? Like that Georgia Tech DB almost got over there in time to bat that ball down. Keyshawn Helton was open the moment the ball was snapped.
Everybody was open. They had like a crossing around the middle with maybe Pokey or something. I think he had too many guys open.
Yeah, but I'm saying I think the play is Helton. Like Helton's the one that's rolling to the right. Blackman's rolling to the right, and literally as soon as the ball is snapped and Helton cuts back to the right, he is wide open. You could have thrown a lollipop out there and let him run under it. And Blackman he didn't seem to even trust that until it was almost too late. He got it there, and he made a good throw when he decided to throw it, but he just doesn't have – it's not even the anticipation. Like we know he's not next-level Jameis Winston, where you anticipate where a guy's going to be or what the DB's doing and throwing it to the back shoulder. It's I'm talking about college Jameis Winston. But it's not just the anticipation. It's just, okay, now he's open, go. And it takes a second longer than it's supposed to with a good quarterback. But don't you think there's a chance maybe he just goes out on Saturday night and says, what do I got to lose? Everybody thinks I'm terrible. Nobody wants to see me play. I'm playing Miami. We're underdogs anyway. I'm just going to let it loose, and I'm just going to trust what I see right away and let it go. And if I throw 5 picks, I throw 5 picks. We all know he wouldn't get a chance to throw 5 picks. But I'm just saying, do you think there's a chance he has that mindset? Or is he going to be kind of worried about making mistakes and hesitant?
We'll find out. 7:30. I lean more towards
answer.
Probably not seeing.
Yeah, me too. It's more. I think that was more rhetorical question. I think I know the answer, but I want to be surprised, James. I want to be surprised.
Random John. Good morning, Aslan. Good morning, Corey. James Blackman listed as a starting
Good morning, Random John. Sorry.
No, it's polite.
Yeah.
James Blackman is listed as a starting quarterback after 4 years of only aspiring to mediocrity. Purdy, the supposed answer, is injured. We saw Travis's one throw was in the dirt, and I guess are to expect all of his throws to be at the ground. Are we to assume that Rodemaker is unable to throw a forward pass or is perhaps blind in one eye? What other reason can you think of that we would start a quarterback that believes ghosts are chasing him, rolls into pressure so good EJ gives a standing ovation, and so inaccurate that broadsides of Barnes are safe? Golly, no one likes this poor kid, man. Wow.
I mean that was
like, I feel I should get shanked. Like, if I got shanked and I died, I'd be like, Mom, I read that question. I read about him. And if I was his family member, I'd hurt me too.
Well, I just think it's, you hope, I think as a coaching staff, you're always got a positive mindset. You think maybe the kid just had one bad game. You don't want to hold Arizona State and the Miami of he didn't play Miami of last year, Florida of last year, or any Wake Forest of last year. You don't want to hold any of that against them because you weren't his coach then. So I don't know that it would look great after one start to just say that's done. You're done. Like all the things they preached in the offseason about it's going to take time, but this is how you build. You got to believe. And then one bad start from the quarterback, and you're like, you're done. You're out of here. We're not dealing with that anymore. I don't know that that's the right maybe recipe to build a program or to build a team's belief in you. At the same time, they aren't going to do it 2 games in a row. They will give him a chance to keep his job. Does that make sense? I think that's what this is. It's almost like an audition to keep your job, but I just can't foresee a scenario where Tate Rodemaker would have played in the opener. It's just there didn't seem to be a right time for that at all. I would have stayed with Jordan Travis if he was healthy, but I don't know about Tate Rodemaker. Now that you have 2 weeks more of practice and film work, maybe Tate has been awesome. Maybe Tate's going to be the answer. Maybe we don't even know who the backup quarterback is. So maybe it is Rodemaker. And if Blackman struggles, Tate goes in there. But you're right. I understand the concern. I understand why you think anything is better than what you saw in the opener.
Just got to wait for Chubba. You got to wait for Chubba. I don't think anybody else is an answer.
And we don't even know about Chubba. But Chubba, you better be the answer, buddy.
Got a feeling. Poor man's Johnny Manziel. There, I said it. Captain D _63. Good morning, gentlemen. The other day, a reporter asked Dillingham if all the quarterbacks were taking reps. His response was yes, they were. By him saying this, do you believe they have a package for Chubba? And do you believe they will play Travis as well to keep Miami's defense confused or disrupted? I believe in our coaches. I think we should do what Coach Bowden did in late 76, where he played his freshman and sophomore. By 77, they were running like a well-oiled machine. The NCAA said this is mostly a wash anyway, so play your guys, give them experience. So by next year, who knows? You might be competing for an ACC championship. I hate Miami just as much as I do the Gators. I'd say Miami 1A, Gators 1B. Eat your Zaxby, subscribe to warchant.com. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Go Noles, beat Miami. FSU 30, Miami 17.
Oh, okay.
Package for Chubba. Will they play Travis as well? Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see Jordan Travis for the fourth quarter. If you're going to set the over/under at quarter number 3, I'll take the under on that.
Yeah, if the offense is struggling, which is an if, but if the offense is struggling, yes, you're going to see other people taking snaps at quarterback. I wholeheartedly believe that. Yeah, I just do.
I don't know about Chubba playing, though. He's cleared. I say let him play. I said that earlier, so you already know that. Snowman 613. These are new names. You guys need to know the rules.
They are. Other people are getting in the mix.
Tell us where you're from and the most famous resident, citizen, native from said hometown. Snowman 6113 says, thanks for all you both and the whole Warchant team do to keep us informed and help us laugh through the tears.
Hey, by the way, that reporter that asked the question to Dillingham was the one and only Aslan.
All right.
I just want to throw that out there. It wasn't just some random reporter, guys. It was Aslan. It was your Aslan.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
He's not my Aslan. He's not your Aslan. He's our Aslan.
It's community, yeah. For the people. Florida State has to play to win instead of just trying not to lose. They have the talent. Now they need to believe. FSU 23, Miami 12. Go Noles, game MVP, Travis J with a huge return and at least 2 takeaways.
Okay. All right. Travis Jay is going to introduce himself to the world if he has a long kick return and 2 takeaways. 23-12. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't see that being a real thing that happens. I do think that was the score. I was trying to think of that score. Like, when have I heard that score before? I think that was the score of the, I might be wrong, the 98 Florida State-Florida game. The Peter Warwick crazy touchdown catch where it should have been a pick six, and then he threw the touchdown to Dugans. I'm going to look that up right now, Aslan.
23-16, I thought.
I thought it was 23-12.
Could be. I mean,
because I don't think Florida didn't get a. I know Florida didn't get a first down in the second half. How crazy is that? Or maybe they went the whole third. I nailed it. Is that you think that? Yep, 23-12. How about that, Aslan? That just happened, folks. That wasn't a setup. I really didn't know. I just knew I knew the score 23-12 before. So anyway,
I don't even remember. What was it? 34-31 the national championship game. 2013. It's literally framed in my living room. I don't even remember the score.
Probably. That sounds about right.
Let me just
Who
open
knows?
the door. I can look. Yeah, 34-31. Nailed it. Mississippi _Knoll _357. Wake up from Chi-Town by way of Mississippi.
That's what it was in that 98 game. Sorry, I just looked it up. Florida was 0 for 13 on third downs. How crazy is that? And that was the 98 Florida team. That was a good team, man. That was a team that should have beaten Tennessee that year. Like, they had 500 yards of offense, and that obviously we all know that Tennessee ended up winning the national championship over Florida State. But Florida went up there and had like 500-something yards of offense and went up and down the field, just had crazy turnovers. And in that game, they had 200 yards of offense against Florida State, 204, and they were 0 for 13 on third downs, and Doug Johnson was 13 of 36 with 3 interceptions. Those were the days, Aslan. I don't know if you remember those days, back when Florida State would beat good teams and dominate bad ones. Those were the days. Anyway, go ahead with the question. My fault.
Mississippi _Knoll _357. Wake up from Chi-Town via Mississippi. Let me know where in Mississippi, Mississippi Knoll. It is Miami Hate Week, gentlemen. We are going to shock the world. Probably not. JB1 is who we thought he was, and we are buying time for the youth movement. Wins and losses, out the window. I'd like to see some pride from these guys. Leaders are not leading, and losing is not being personal. Anywho, I'm a bit of a loner, so I like to watch my Knowles alone and with plenty of beer. What say you guys? Room full of rowdy Knowles pre-COVID or one-man show? Because there's no shame in crying alone. Hashtag Go Knowles, all caps. Well, it depends. These days, I'm by myself. If I'm back home with my buddies, I'll watch it with my buddies. I'd prefer to actually kind of go to a Florida State bar, like alumni meetup kind of thing with my Florida State buddies and watch a game. But otherwise, yeah, comfort in my home by myself. Like, leave me alone. Let me yell. Let me throw stuff. I don't need to be judged.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be watching it alone. I guess Brady will be watching. By the way, so Brady's got a baseball game at 8 in the morning on Sunday morning, and it's an hour and a half, like an hour away. So I got to get up at like 6:15 in the morning for a 12-year-old baseball game. I might just say, look, he can't do it. Sorry, guys. He's under the weather.
You got like a family? You got someone that can carpool? Like someone can swing by and pick him up? You know?
I do, but that's not nice. Then I don't know.
My parents, man, you go to, I know you're being a great father, and it's to be commended, but like you can miss a baseball game. It'll be all right. But you're a coach,
I know,
right?
and it's at 8 o'clock too. Yeah, it's a good one to miss if I'm going to miss one. And they're going anyway. The guy that could take Brady is one of the coaches, so he has to go. So I could just be like, hey, Brady literally lives a mile from you. Come pick him up. And I'll be asleep. Just let me text me and let me know it goes okay. But I haven't watched a game in a sports bar, like a game, like obviously a Florida State game. I'm usually at them, but just like even a Falcons game or a Braves game, like I don't remember going to a sports bar. And the last time I remember doing it was it might have been a decade ago. I remember going to a local sports bar in Tallahassee to watch the Falcons play the Packers in like the divisional round, when the Falcons I think had the best record in the league, but it was the year the Packers won the Super Bowl, I think. Okay. And the Packers, of course, had Aaron Rodgers.
That was 2010.
So maybe it did not go well. I remember that, and I remember Jordan DeMercy and Chris Singleton, 2 Florida State basketball players at the time, were in the booth next to us, and I was like, "What?" And they were really invested in the game. I'm like, "What?" And I remembered they're both from Atlanta, so we were all commiserating together. Because it was another Atlanta postseason disappointment.
Yeah, 2010, I watched the Oklahoma game at a bar in Montana, and it was like, it wasn't
Was
that
it a
bad.
Knoll bar? Was it a Knoll bar?
Yeah, lots of Knoll fans packing into Bozeman. It was great times. Right. And then I did not watch a game at a bar until the Oregon playoff game, and I'm just like, I'll never do this again.
Yeah, man, you need to stop doing that.
Just like all the people, it's holding, that's pass interference, like every play. It's just like, guys, ladies, it's not.
I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you.
Tally Knoll 123. Why not us?
Is that the question?
That's the question.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Why not? What's stopping Florida State from pulling an upset? The talent is there to pull an upset. I can promise you. I think the rosters in this game are much more evenly matched than the one in the opener. So, and that team pulled an upset. It's allowed. You've had 2 weeks. Go make some magic happen. I know you don't have your head coach and the quarterback isn't very good. There's a lot of obstacles. I get it, but still, you're allowed to go win a game that maybe people don't think you should.
He adds, or she adds, just get them to watch a few Rocky IV montages or the Game of Inches speech by Pacino, and then let's ride.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe Jimbo's speech from 2010. It's not their time. It's our time. Yeah, all that stuff, man. There's a lot of that stuff out there. Or Allen Iverson about the practice.
I don't think we've ever gone through 10 questions this fast before. We got one last one, and it's from Old Dad's and Knoll. Wake up! Aslan, as a favor to your older fans, can you explain how someone gives a tip? I love listening to all the shows, but technology is not my friend. I would love to give you guys a tip during the live shows sometime to show my appreciation for y'all. Oh, and to hell with trying to please everyone. Blast that horn. All right. Fantastic.
Amen.
I don't even know, Old Dads and all, to be honest with you. I think there's a button like where you can post your comment on YouTube during the live show. There's maybe like a $sign icon. It's called the Super Chat, but you need to connect your credit card to your YouTube. And yeah, I mean, if you just give us a 5-star review on iTunes, I won't look at you with the stink eye.
Ray Pereira, next time we don't even. How about this, Ray Pereira? We don't want you to. You don't have to donate to us next time. You've donated to us enough. We want you to pay it forward. Pass it forward. We want you in your comment. Maybe give us 99 cents just so it pops up, so Aslan will put it on the screen, and then explain to people how they can do it.
Okay.
Like, how did you do it?
Yeah.
And let everybody know, even if it's 60-word explanation. Let people know what the best way is to donate, right? Don't you think that's a fair compromise?
Sure. That's very
And
good.
also, yes, obviously leave a 5-star review. Subscribe.
This guy, Willie Johnson, I think he's done this twice now. He dropped $150 during the recruiting chat on Wednesday evening with Langston. Didn't even ask a question. Just boom, $150. And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, please say something. Do something.
Yeah.
I mean, good grief. And he made a score prediction and said that Florida State was going to win.
Oh. Okay.
And then Ray Pereira comes and he's like, hey, man, here's some money too. So Ray's out there making things
Ray
happen.
P's always out there. He's always lurking.
Ray Pereira's the Jeff Bezos of Florida State fans. Just out here gifting everybody everything. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Old Dads and Olds got a question, though. Corey, I was intrigued to your research putting us in the Beaver and Boilermaker doldrums. However, if you want to dig deeper, try this one on. How many programs have gone 4 openers without a single second-half touchdown? And that's with 3 home games and a true neutral site game. If that isn't absolutely mind-blowing, what is? Love the show. Old Dad, 2724 FSU.
I think somebody brought that up on headlines, maybe, or maybe it was this show a week ago. I know that there was a questioner on one of the many.
Wasn't this one?
Oh, it was not this one. I was going to say one of the many popular podcasts I'm a part of. But somebody pointed that out, and I'm like, that can't be true. Wait, that is exactly what in the world? And I just got furious. I just felt my blood boiling. Like, what in the world are we being subjected to? That's insane. Because I can promise you Purdue and Oregon State have scored second-half touchdowns in the last 4 years in their openers. I'm going to go ahead and say on the record, there has been no college football team in history since integration. But, some back then teams, back in the 40s and 50s, some teams were getting beat 200-0 or 80-6 with regularity. since it became big boy football, so let's say 1970, of schools that major college football teams, and I'm just talking about Power 5, even like throw Georgia Southern in there, whoever, nobody has gone 4 straight openers without scoring a touchdown in the second half.
So
Florida State has just set a record.
This.
I'm just saying it.
Oh, probably. You're saying
it's not a probably. Can you imagine? You think another school, like even Florida State back in the mid-'70s when they were thinking about allegedly giving up the sport, I'm going to look it up. I bet the 1975, 1974 teams scored second half touchdowns in their opener. I mean, I get it, Florida State fans. I get it. I'm getting mad thinking about it. Again, and this is the second time. Let's see. 1973, they lost to Wake 9-7. The next year, they lost 9-6 to open the season. Then they lost 31-20 to Texas Tech in 75. I'm going to see if they scored a second half touchdown.
I think they probably did.
Let's see. Yeah, Leon Bright had a 1-yard run in the fourth quarter to cut it to 19-14. And then Mike Barnes caught a 24-yard pass with 3:15 left to make it 31-20. So, yeah, even the all-time terrible Florida State teams, and there were bad ones back then, found a way to score touchdowns in the second half occasionally in the openers. That's just crazy, man. What in the world?
And just think, 18, Cam broke off that run against Virginia Tech, and they should have scored probably at some point. But, like, against Boise, I feel like they never really got close. I don't even know if they might have crossed the 50 once or twice.
I think they had the one time after a turnover or something, or a return. Well, probably not a return. They had the ball, and then Cam Akers fumbled, kind of going in for what might have been a backbreaking score. Yeah. He fumbled. But, yeah, they didn't. And the Virginia Tech one, yeah, he had a 90-yard run, and then they just went backwards after that. Yeah. And they had that crazy call on 4th and goal.
Coming out of a timeout, too, right? They call timeout?
Trick play nonsense. So,
the diamond. Remember they ran the diamond.
What a time to unveil that, like 4th and goal at the 13. So they haven't, and they didn't really come close at all in the opener against Georgia Tech either. It's not like they've been stopped at the 1-yard line a few times or had even the ball that slipped through Tamori and Terry's hands was in the first half. I mean, it's impossible. How many drives do you think that is? All told over the last 4 seasons in those openers. Probably 6 drives in all those second halves.
Each time, yeah.
Yeah, probably 24 or 25 straight second half drives without a touchdown.
They had 5 possessions against Georgia Tech.
Okay.
In the second half.
So we'll say, to be fair, 20, 21. Even still, you're going to go 21 straight drives in the second half of football games with all kinds of different types of people and players and coaches, and you haven't scored 1 second half touchdown in an opener. But, hey, next year they start with who is it next year? Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll change. I'm going to go ahead and predict that. That's going to change. They're going to score a touchdown in the second half next year in the opener.
They had 3 drives of 10 or more plays in the second half.
That's what Dillingham was talking about, which was so goofy. He's like, I've never been a part of it. And how long did those drives go? How many yards?
Okay, so the first drive of the second half was 11 plays, 25 yards. They had it for 4 minutes and 12 seconds.
Right. Yeah. That's what he's talking about. What was the next one?
13 plays, 35 yards, 5 minutes, 3 seconds. That was the field goal. That was their last score.
And then they had another one that was like 10 for 31, right?
The second to last one, 12 plays, 47 yards, 5 minutes on the nose, ended with a fumble. The one before that, 6 plays, -4 yards, fumble, 2 minutes, 23 seconds.
So that's what Dillingham was saying. Like, he's not used to this. Obviously, Norvell isn't either, but that's not what they want. They don't want 11. Nobody wants. Who would want an 11-play, 31-yard drive?
Not even Army.
No, that's not enough yards per play for Army. So that it was such a grind to get those first downs, and that's what he was talking about with the explosive plays. They got to make more big plays. And the one thing I don't think I mentioned yesterday, whenever we were talking about the Dillingham press conference, that I thought was a really good point, is like he talked about, we need explosive plays, and he wasn't putting it all on the players necessarily. He said we do need to coach them up better, but he's like, also when you're one-on-one with the safety, sometimes you got to make somebody miss.
Oh, was straight from the Corey Clark book of press box musings. Just that play, that was an 18-yard completion, but Snoop Minnis would have broke that tackle and it would have been a 70-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and that's what he was saying. Is this going to be a 12-yard gain or is it going to be a 70-yard touchdown?
Yeah.
Sometimes the players have to go make plays too. Not every yard can be coached. And that's where the explosive plays come from. And they do seem to think that they really do seem to like their skill guys still, but I guess they wouldn't tell us if they didn't. But yes, you want to see some more big time plays, man, and more explosive plays, making more guys miss. You want to see that kind of stuff. That's always fun to see in a football game.
All right, let's do this. Let's run it back tomorrow. We'll dive maybe a little bit further into thoughts on the actual Miami matchup. We appreciate all the questions, everybody, for real. Renegade Express is quite literally our most listened to show every single week. We'll also do over-unders. The Williams Sportsbook has given us their prop bets, and we'll give away some free Zaxby's food and a T-shirt with Corey Clark's face on it. I happen to be on it, too. But it looks nothing like me. It looks just like Corey, though, of course.
It does.
We'll be back tomorrow. Check out warchant.com. In the meantime, we got you covered for the Miami game. Thanks for listening, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow.
Warchant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. Warchant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WARCHANT30. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.